Hey there, Bruce, and welcome back to the Game of Fortune. We've got to another ending in the last episode, Clyde's ending, which I didn't think was going to be happening until the end, but it turns out he was the first to win, apparently. So, now we have to go for a new path. And that means we're moving to the other side of the board, so instead of sticking together this time, we're going to be splitting up with Devon. Really, there's a good chance that Devon and I might end up killing one another if we pair up together. Out of all the game options listed, only one of them had an option where everyone could possibly survive. And if luck wasn't with me, we might be forced to compete against one another, forced to kill one another. My body shuddered at the thought. I think it would be best if we split up. Huh? But are you sure that's a good idea? Well, I'm not completely sure. I don't know, something just tells me that something bad will happen if we pair up. I mean, we can always pair up again later, right? Yeah. The look of disappointment and fear slowly revealed itself on Devon's face. Hey, I know it's scary, but if we split up, there's a better chance we both survive. Next round, I promise we can go together, alright? Devon punched me in the shoulder and smiled. Sheesh, what's with all the sappy, melodramatic words? You make it sound like you're not going to make it or something. Well, there's no guarantee. That's quitters talk. You can't say stuff like that before you even know what's going to happen. So you better not die out there, alright? I'll be all alone if you end up dying, so... She sniffed a little and tucked her head into my chest. So if you end up dying, I'll never forgive you. Got it? Devon? I pulled her into a hug. For a moment I could forget that we were surrounded by other people, and that all I had to do was just provide some comfort to her. Let her know that even if I wasn't with her, I'd find some way to give her some respite. That moment didn't last long, unfortunately. Ugh, you're being so dramatic. Hey, who said you could eavesdrop on our conversation? I didn't need to. You're being so damn loud and dramatic that everyone with ears and eyes would notice. I'll just go and look at someone else. Kind of hard to do when you said you were going to split up. Why does that matter? Do I have to spell out everything for you? See, if there's no need to be aggressive, you can't blame them for not understanding everything. It's not complicated, though. Clyde, Devon, if you aren't going to pair up, then that means that someone else will have to split up. After all, we have to go in sets of 4. Naturally, if everyone else is going to pair up, and then we add you to the mix, they need someone else to make it 4. Oh yeah, I guess you're right. So you're making a whole bunch of trouble for the rest of us. Sorry, I'd just rather not pair up this round. That's fine. It just means we're going to have to figure out who's going to end up splitting up. Who else is willing to split up from their partner? I'm not going anywhere without Laura, so you can count me out. Lilith was still consoling her sister, and while she looked a little bit better, it was clear that she hadn't calmed down yet, not enough to really voice her own opinion. I don't mind splitting off from Jade, to be quite honest. Harsh, man. You seriously don't want to stay with number 1 over here? Something tells me you'll manage well enough with or without me. Fine with me. That just means I'll get more time with some amazing people. So we got one pair that's willing to split up. Anyone else? I'm willing to split up if it means we can make things work for the group. Huh? You're fine with splitting up? Don't tell me you're afraid of dear old dad leaving you all alone, are you, son? Well, no, it's not that, it's just... Don't worry, I'll be just fine. You say that, but... Never mind, it's fine. And if we have to split up, then we'll split up. Okay, so now we've got a total of 3 pairs willing to split up. That ought to be enough, unless we have more volunteers. No one else spoke up or was willing to split up after Kishi asked. Okay, so now all we have to do is determine what doors we'll be going through, and split people up accordingly. Personally, Zeph and I would like to go through door number 1. Does anyone else have any preferences? Laura and I are going through door number 3. Okay, I'll take note of that. Anyone else have preferences? Yeah, Elizabeth and I are going to take door 2. Alright, so we've got a pair for each door. So all that means is we've got to split people up from here on out. So Clyde, why don't you pick first? Me? Why should I pick first? No real reason. You're the one who split off first, figured you had an idea as to who you'd want to go with. Well, I guess you got a point. I can either join up with Zeph and Kishi, William and Elizabeth, or Laura and Lilith. Out of those options, I'd figure I'd rather go with... I guess... Who have we seen the least of? Elizabeth and Lilith we've seen the least of. Let's go with William and Elizabeth. We've done a bit of William, but not that much. We haven't seen either of their endings. I guess I'll join William and Elizabeth. Why'd you say it like that? You should be saying it with vigor. I mean, think about it. You'll get a chance to see my amazing skills in action. Yeah, I guess I will. For better or worse, and my gut says for worse. Alright, so to make a group of 3, just need one more person to go along with them. I'll volunteer to join them. Be good to catch up with Elizabeth. Maybe you should see how her latest student's been doing. It's fine with me, all the more people to impress. Oh, well, I'm certain that you'll impress me in more ways than I can imagine. Great, so that's one more group set. So who's going to join Zeph and me in door 1? Seeing as Lilith is giving me the evil eye right now, it's probably best if I go ahead and join you guys. Grant, you want to tag along too? If they'll have us, I don't see why not. Why are you looking at us like that? I didn't even say anything weird this time around. It's fine. You sure, Kishi? That's fine. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. Anyway, that will leave Devon and Richard to join Laura and Lilith in door 3, right? That's okay with you two? It's fine with me. I don't know, I feel like Lilith would clock me over the head if I rubbed her the wrong way. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure she said she'd clamp my mouth shut if she caught me screaming. That's such a handicap. What if I need to yell for help in a game? Are you done making jokes, or do you have any actual objections? None. I just like hearing the sound of my own voice. Alright, well, if everyone's okay with their groups, I guess we can get going. Good luck and good fortune to the rest of you. Kishi waved as she, Zeph, Jade, and Grant walked through the first door. See you on the other side. You should be careful about saying that, Jade. Why? There's nothing wrong with confidence. Overconfidence will get you killed quick around here. Sure, whatever you say. But being ho-hum about everything isn't going to get you in here either. It's like dating. If you can't say hello, get used to saying goodbye. That doesn't even make sense. Ugh. It closed quickly right behind them, leaving the rest of us alone to prepare for our games. I could only hope that I'd be ready for whatever Belle threw at us. And just like that, they were gone. Happily marching into some death game with smiles on their faces. Were they confident? Crazy? Something else entirely? I don't get it. How can anyone go into these games so calm? Going in with a partner seemed to be the best idea, but I'm alone. I'm all alone. How the hell am I going to survive all this? How? Boo. Ah! Maria snickered to herself as she gave me a few pats on the shoulder. Don't be so tense, it's not good for your body. You alright, Devon? I'm fine, just a little sore on the shoulders now. Thanks for that, Maria. Not a problem, I'm always happy to help. You look much better when you're not scowling with your head down. Why are you telling me people don't like staring at the back of my head? Why I put so much work into my hair? If it means anything, I think your hair looks stellar. Aw, thanks. See, Clyde? Why do you give me compliments like that? Because I'm not often staring at the back of your hair. Oh, then why might you be looking? Don't try to spin this into something it isn't. I'm just trying to lighten the mood. It's obvious you two are pretty worried about everything going on. A few laughs here and there might make things easier, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, didn't mean to get in the way of you two. Cheer up. Everything's gonna be alright. She gave each of us both one more supportive pat on the shoulder before leaving the two of us alone. Or at least as alone as anyone could get in this weird lounge. Cheer up. As if we're not going to be fighting for our lives here. Sorry, Devon. I know this must be scary for you, but I just think we've got better odds of surviving if we stay apart for now. I get it. It'd suck if we had to kill each other. Pardon, mind if I join the conversation? If that's what you're worried about, then I dare say you're looking at this wrong. Just as we get a moment of peace. What do you want? I don't mean to pry into your conversation, but surely you know that things are going to get more difficult as time goes on. If you want to avoid killing one another for as long as possible while being in the same game, this is probably your best chance for it. I know that, but even so, I understand it's scary, but the only way you're going to avoid facing off against one another is if you keep playing separate games, which will work up until the finale. Otherwise, the odds of having to kill one another only goes up with each passing round. And while it's probably best to prepare yourselves for that when that happens. I felt my heart sink into my stomach. Just as I'd gotten over that dreadful fear, it was stoked again by this guy's words. I tried to hide my discomfort, but it was hard to keep my emotions under control. I'm not going to hurt or kill Devon, that's a promise. Are you certain you can keep such a promise? Of course I can, I'd never hurt her, except in the last game. I'll do whatever it takes. Everett looked shocked for just a moment as he winced and held his head. He looked as though he was going to lose his balance as he teetered in place. Whoa, hey, you alright, man? Everett collected himself and nodded his head. Ah, I'll be fine. Something seems to have come over me is all. Why is he looking at me all of a sudden? Well, if you're certain you won't hurt her, then I can only wish you the best of luck. Thanks. Anyway, I'll take my leave. I didn't mean to impose for long. He briskly left, leaving Clyde and me alone once again. Maybe we should try to find somewhere private, if we're going to talk. Not exactly a lot of places where we can really talk in private. The lounge is only so big after all. Or maybe we ought to get to know the people we'll be playing with, right? I suppose so. Feels weird being in a group with two older people though. That just means you have to have a leg up if the game ends up being a race or something. Put those guns of yours to use. Well, I'd hope I'd have at least more muscle than the elderly. I'm not that out of shape. That's the spirit. Don't forget about that William guy though. I won't. I'll keep everything in mind. What about you? You'll be joining Lilith, Laura, and Richard. I'll defeat them with my amazing charm. Right, charm the lady that threatened to clamp your mouth shut, and the goth dude who seems like he could turn you to stone with a single glare. Well, if I charm Laura, then I get Lilith along with her, so I really just need to charm one of them. Well, good luck with that. For real though, try to be careful, okay? I don't know exactly what kind of games Belle has in mind, but I just have a bad feeling it's nothing good. It's a death game, of course it's not good. Yeah, I'll be careful. That goes for you too. If you don't end up coming back, I'm gonna make a real racket in the afterlife. I'm sure you would. Well, I won't hold you up. Go off and make some new friends or enemies or rivals. Whatever you're feeling up to. Yeah, you too. Clyde gave me one last supportive pat on the back before walking over towards Philip, Elizabeth and William, who already seemed to be having a conversation. No point being scared, Devon. Just have to hustle through it. We'll figure something out, won't we? We'll find some way to get through this. We have to. I walked over toward Lilith, Laura and Richard, who were lounging on one of the couches. It seemed that Laura had recovered from being attacked by that giant snake and was being tended to by her sister. Laura, I see you're doing a bit better. Yes, just had to get over a bit of shock. I don't do well with snakes. They're pretty scary creatures when you think about it. Yeah, so let's stop talking about them before we end up obsessing over them. Sure thing, I just came to see who I'd be hanging out with for the game. Scoping out the competition, huh? Oh, I wouldn't put it that way. Put it however you want, we're competitors. No matter what kind of game we get, we're going to have to play for survival. Even if we end up teaming up for a game, it'll only be temporary. Lilith, you're being too harsh. You're going to scare her out of her mind if you keep talking like that. I just wanted to swing by and say hello. No need to get so tense so quick. Better to face the harsh reality we're in now than pretend it's not going to happen. So much for getting along with her. She's just dead set on keeping things gloomy. But there's also a chance that we could make it through the first round at least. Maybe we can figure something out by then. Thank you, Laura, for being the optimist of the group. It's possible. That mainly depends on how many people end up dying before our own game. The more that die, the less we'll be at risk. Belle did say that only 4 people could die each round, so it goes without saying that going through a later door is statistically a better choice. Well, at least someone here is thinking straight. Well, it's nothing special, just had to think about how Belle set this whole thing up. That's probably why Teresa, Everett, Maria and Alphonse gunned for the 4th door. So you're thinking that by the time we have to play their game, 4 people would have died already. That's probably what they're thinking. Not a bad idea, honestly. They figured that out so fast. It's not hard to figure out, but I guess it's a little strange that they were quick on the draw about it. Almost as if they were prepared. Maybe they were, but I guess there's no use speculating about it. They've got the door, so they'll take advantage of it. Well, I guess they'll get an easy route then. As the conversation continued, we heard the sound of a door creaking open. We turned to see that the second door had opened up. Seems the first game has its winners. Honestly, that was really fast. They must have sped through the game quick. And that means it's time for the second group to go, right? I believe so. I stood up from the couch and walked over toward the door where Clyde and the others were standing. Clyde, you'd wish me good luck one last time. I mean, yeah. Well, thanks. I'm going to try my best to win whatever the heck game I'm put into. You better. When I win my game, you better be on the other side. Well, you better hope he doesn't have to go up against me then. Otherwise, those chances are looking pretty slim. William, you should know when it's good to hold your tongue. Lest you find it yanked out of your mouth. I don't want my tongue yanked out of my mouth. She just means to watch your words. You're free to gloat all you want in private, but be a little mindful for Devon and Clyde here. Ah, you're right. Wouldn't be fair of me to make them tremble in fear of me. Sure, dude. Whatever you say. Come to say some encouraging words to your dear old dad? Not really. I figure you'd be fine on your own. What? Weren't you the one upset that I was splitting up with you just a moment ago? No respect. No respect at all these days. All I was saying is that I trust in your abilities. If I was worried for you, I wouldn't let you go alone. Oh, Richard. I knew I raised you right. Don't worry, son. I'm going to do my level best. These old bones ain't done yet. I'm more worried about your old mind, but sure. What? I'll have you know I'm in the prime of my life, intellectually speaking. Yeah, whatever you say, old man. Let's just get going. Oh man, Elizabeth, is this how you're raising your students these days, to be disrespectful to their elders? Only the ones that deserve it. Deserve it? Oh, Elizabeth. Why must you be so cruel to me? They began to walk through the door, but just before it could close, Clyde gave me one last assuring smile. I'll make it. Just you wait and see. Just wait and see, huh? Well, at least he gave me something to fight for. Can't lose if he's promised that he'll make it to the next round. Just have to make it to there. I moved back over toward the couches and took a seat, thinking about what game I might end up playing when the time comes. I wouldn't fret too much over Clyde if I were you. Richard sat down across from me, looking over back toward the doors for just a second before smiling back at me. Just saying I don't think you need to worry much about him. He seemed really serious about giving it his all and making sure to make it to the end. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure Clyde doesn't want to die here. He better give it his all if he knows what's good for him. Of course, of course. Well, you make sure to give it your all as well. I will. I just don't know exactly how much I can give. What do you mean by that? You should be willing to give everything you got, right? Well, yeah, it's more like just being able to do it or having the skill to win. So it's a matter of confidence. Well, I think everyone will get a fair shot. So you just have to believe that you've got a chance to win. Play as best you can and you'll probably get a good outcome. Only probably, huh? Can't guarantee anything here, but it never hurts to be optimistic. Never would have imagined that coming from you. What's that supposed to mean? You're covered in head to toe with purple, black and grey. You look goth as hell. And just a really gloomy appearance. It's just like this look. I don't think I'm all that gloomy. Maybe it's just something I have to get used to. Pardon me, Richard Descartes? Richard turned his head toward Everett as he approached the two of us. He flashed a quick smile before sitting down next to Richard. Just Richard is fine, no need to be formal. Of course, I just came here with a proposition. Exactly what did you have in mind? I was going to ask if you wanted to make a swap. I'll take your place to the third door and you can join the group going in the fourth door. Huh? You want to swap? Just like that? Is that a problem? Well, no, it's not really a problem, but I guess I'm going to figure out why. Yeah, you seemed dead set on taking the fourth door before. Why the change of heart? And why now? You could have spoken up earlier when we were choosing groups. I had a bit of time to think things over and I'd rather not go through the fourth door as well. If it's too abrupt of a change, you're free to ignore the request, but I figured it was worth asking at least. I'm fine swapping, but will Teresa be okay with it? Oh, I'm certain she'll be fine with it. She'd be happy, in fact, that I'm not in the same group as her. Huh? Well, if that's the case, then I'm alright with trading. Devon, are you okay with it? Why are you asking me? Well, Everett will be in your group, which means you might have to play a game against him. That's something you should consider if I were to trade places. Laura and Lilith probably want to know as well. I don't really mind, so you can do whatever. Alright, then I guess I'll go ask Laura and Lilith if they're okay with it. If all goes well, then we can swap around. Sounds good. Let me know if everything works out. Richard stood up and walked over toward Laura and Lilith, leaving Everett and me alone on the couch. Faring well enough, Devon? Yeah, I guess I'm managing. I'll have to get into a game and see if I end up running like a headless chicken or getting my shit together. They say that pressure makes us perform amazing feats. People become stronger, faster, smarter, if only for a few seconds as they race to find some way to survive. If you ever get stressed, try thinking about it like that. You're right. Here's my chance to audition as the next Wonder Woman. A real shame I didn't come from an island of beautiful Amazons. Truly a shame, but if you make it as the next great superhero, be sure to remember my name. You got a frame that's pretty hard to forget. Thank you, I try to keep in shape. What shape is that? Upside down triangle? Well, that's... Hey, what do you think you're trying to pull? Huh? Oh dear, I had a feeling this might happen. Maria had stormed over and leaped onto the couch and was staring down at Everett. What the heck are you doing? Richard's saying you were swapping places with him. I offered him the chance and he accepted. What's wrong with that? That would put you in a group with Laura, Lilith and Devon, wouldn't it? Yes, is that a problem? Of course it's a problem. It is? I hope you're not going to insinuate that simply because I'm a man of burly stature that I pose a threat to them. Why don't we ask the others what they think? It's fine with me. Is it really worth arguing over? She seems to think so. So, let's get it taken care of now, so we don't have to worry about it later. Everett and Maria gathered everyone from the lounge in front of the doors. Hopefully this wouldn't take long. So we're gathered here to talk about a proposed swap between me and Richard. It would seem that Maria has an objection to it, however. Hell yeah, I have an objection to it. Why are you choosing to swap now? This isn't what everyone agreed to. With all due respect, you aren't part of the conversation as to what groups we'd all go in. You, along with Alphonse, Teresa and myself, opted to take the fourth door, after which I decided I wanted to swap. I asked Richard and he was fine with it, as was Devon. Laura, Lilith, are you okay with the proposed swap as well? I don't really mind, to be honest. I'll admit it's not exactly ideal. I don't like the idea of having to face off against someone as big and strong as you. But really, I don't care as much as long as I'm with Laura. See, all parties have no issue with me joining them. You didn't bother asking us. What if we have an issue with the swap? Well, that's what we're here to discuss, isn't it? Do you have something against Richard? Is that the reason why you don't want to have to swap? That's a bit cruel to judge so swiftly, don't you think? What? No, I don't have anything against Richard, even if he is a little creepy looking. It's always the same. It's just I don't think it's right for you to join up with those three specifically. And why exactly is that? You know exactly why. You're not making a good argument. I agree. Frankly, I'm happy that Everett's going away. He won't be looking over my shoulder, making sure I'm doing everything as he wants. I'll admit, though, I will miss him. Those strong, tender muscles, those hands that can work magic. I remember the impression you made on me, Everett. Anyway, Teresa's fine with me leaving, so that just leaves you, Maria. Actually, I'm not exactly happy about this either. Oh, I didn't know you were so fond of Everett, Alphonse. I'm not, but I don't like the idea of him joining a group of women all by himself. Well, that's incredibly sexist of you, don't you think, Alphonse? Are you suggesting that Laura, Lilith, and Devon wouldn't be able to beat Everett? For shame. Shame on you. Shame me all you want. It still rubs me the wrong way. Well, if it bothers you that much, why don't you offer an alternative? You don't need to say any more. I'll let you swap, but only if you let me join you as well. Huh? Why are you surprised? I thought you'd go and suggest me. No, let me give it a whirl. Oh, that's all fine and dandy, but we can't have 5 people in a group. So Laura or Lilith would need to split up in order for this to work. We're not going to split up, and thus we reach another obstacle. Actually, you could just have Lilith and Laura go through the 4th door. Then you could bring Maria along with us. The new groups would be Devon, Maria, Everett, and me going through door 3, and Lilith, Laura, Therese, and Alphonse going through door 4. Ah, but perfect. That works completely fine with me. Good thinking, Richard. But what's wrong, Al? Don't tell me you're going to crumble just because your group's all women now. That's not the issue. It's just that I don't want to hurt Laura. To be fair, I don't want him hurting Laura either. Al, you really got to loosen up. Just because she looks like a mum doesn't mean you got to get flustered around her. It looks like my mum. Well, but that's not... It's not that. She's just trying to annoy me. I don't do well with particular women is all. The sweet, kind, soft-hearted types. Don't do well how, exactly? He gets all nervous, tries to be on his best behaviour, like a kid trying to impress his mum at a school play. That's cute if it's true. And easily exploitable, too. Lilith, I don't think that's something you should try and take advantage of. I disagree. You should take advantage of every little trick someone has. But that's just my opinion. Either way, I'm fine with this setup. As I am as well. Great. Then we're all in agreement. As if on cue, once we all got through this issue, the 3rd door opened up. And right on time. Seems it's our turn to play. Heck yeah, let's do this. Well, I guess this isn't how I expected things to go, but it doesn't seem all that bad, honestly. We walked over toward the door and gave one last parting glance at the remaining 4 behind us. Good luck out there, Maria. Give him hell, Everett. The 2 each gave faint smiles before entering through the door. And we watched it slowly close behind us. Huh. So are we going to play the game in here? This doesn't really look like a game room, to be honest. It's probably not. I imagine this is just where we wait until Belle decides what game we're going to play. That's probably why there are 2 doors leading out of here. Oh, so we can just go out through there. I walked over toward one of the doors and attempted to open it, but the door was locked. Not so fast there, Devon. Belle's voice rang through the air, and her face appeared on the television screen that was in the room. I can admire your excitement to get into the game, but you can't just rush into things. You don't even know what game you'll be playing. You're on television? I am. Coming to you live from channel B311. I thought electronics didn't work down here. Who told you that? Anything's possible down here as long as I allow it. I pulled out my phone and tried to turn it on. But the damn thing was unresponsive. Guess you don't want us using our phones right now then, huh? Well, it's rude to check your phone when someone else is talking. But enough about that. Let's go over how these games are going to work. First things first, you all remember the game types, right? Yes, all for one, 4-player dilemma, 1 versus 3 and 2 versus 2. Great, excellent memory you have there, Everett. So going along with that, one of the game types will be picked, and then I'll decide what game you'll all play. Exactly. In the event of a team game, I'll tell you the teams as well. Easy peasy, honey squeezy, right? Sounds simple enough. Good, then let's start with the roulette. Belle's face was replaced with a screen showing all of the game options. Thinking about it, I didn't really care what kind of game popped up. Clyde wasn't with me, so I should just be able to play for myself. Maybe that's what he was thinking. If we had team games or even an all-for-one game, then we'd have to kill one another. Still, I would have to win whatever game showed up first. Maybe being on a team would make things easier, or more difficult. It wouldn't matter. Whatever game was chosen, I just have to give it my all. 4-player dilemma? Looks like you're playing a 4-player dilemma game. How fun. So, now you decide what the game is? That's right, Devon. So what kind of game should I have the 4 of you play? How about we play Evolution? Evolution? Like from video game Richard, the concept of evolution has existed before a certain creature catching game that I am totally not afraid to mention because of legal issues. Not that I think there's any legal issues, but well, some people are so sensitive about this stuff. Nintendo's very sensitive about this stuff. What? Anyway, I'll explain the game rules once you enter into the game room. So just exit the room and we'll get started. See you soon. And just like that, Belle signed off the television screen. Evolution? Can't say I've ever heard of a game like that before. Oh, it's probably something Belle made up on the spot. Or she has a number of games in mind she just picks from. Either way, there's no use wondering. She'll explain the exact nature of the game once we play. True. Nothing to it but to get through it. So let's see what Evolution's all about. We all nodded and entered into the game room, but it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. Is this a forest? Wow, this is a bit much, don't you think? Well, I think I'm getting a feel for whatever this Evolution game is going to be. I wonder if there's tall grass around. I don't talk about tall grass like that. Belle appeared and seemed to shoo Richard, as if to somehow keep him from finishing that thought. Welcome to Evolution, a simplistic game of survival. Enjoying the scenery? Well, it's a forest. How the heck do you have a forest around here? Devon, I'm a god. I can do just about whatever I want here. If you're not fond of the forest, I could try a more volcanic setting if you'd like. No, thank you. I'm not dressed for that kind of weather. Fair enough. Well, let's get right to the rules, shall we? As I said before, Evolution is a game about survival. Just like a wild animal, you must eat, drink, sleep, and reproduce to ensure your survival. And that's what you'll be doing in this game. Reproduce? Reproduce? You don't mean... Don't get your scarf in a knot, Richard. I'm not expecting you to go that far. It's a game, after all. More of an abstraction of the concept than the real thing. Though if you're really feeling up to it, I wouldn't stop you from doing the real thing. No thank you, I'm not that desperate for action. Are you saying that Devon or Maria's not good enough? Great, let me get back on track. Essentially, each of you will have to survive 3 days on these wild lands. You'll get enough food to eat, water to drink, and find a nice place to sleep and reproduce. Each day you'll have a limited amount of time to fulfill your needs and find a place to rest. If you fail to find a safe place or sleep, or get enough food or water, you'll die. And if you die, you lose. Super simple, ain't it? Sounds fun. I've always wanted to do a survivor-like challenge. It is fun. Who doesn't love scrounging around for food, water, and shelter? However, it's not quite as simple as that. It's not? Seems simple enough to me. So you think, but before we get any further, let me give you each a neat little collar. Oh, no thanks, Belle. I don't think I need one. Agreed, I think I'd prefer not to have a collar around my neck. Oh, you two, you're so cute. You think you have a choice in the matter. Come here and put this collar on before I replace your collarbones with it. How could you say something so terrifying with such a sweet voice? Reluctantly, we walked over and let Belle attach the collars to our necks. At least we weren't uncomfortable. There, see? That wasn't so bad, was it? I dare say you'll look beautiful with that little accessory on. I'm sure you look great with one on too, Belle. Why don't you join us? Oh, there's no need. It's just for you players. And now each of you can take a tablet. Belle held out some lightweight electronic tablets for us. We each took one, not wanting to invoke Belle's ire. Go ahead and turn it on. I tapped the screen on my tablet, and it lit up with a faint blue glow. Devasaur, herbivore, traits, iron gut, heavy sleeper, fat storage. Status, food 0 out of 10, water 0 out of 10, home none, mate none. What the heck is all this? Yeah, there's all these weird terms and stuff on my tablet. That tablet is an essential tracker for your status. It'll let you know how much food and water you need to stay alive, as well as if you have a home to sleep in or not. As for those bolded traits, those are your abilities, passive skills that will help or hinder your survival. If you tap on them, they'll give you details about what they do. Your tablet also has information about whether you're a herbivore, omnivore, or carnivore. Plus, if you click on your little name I gave you, you'll have a cute little story that'll help embolden you. I see, so essentially we use this to ensure that we've met all the needs we have for survival. I have a question though. It's easy to understand the food and water system, but what about the home and mate? Are we expected to look around someplace to rest? That's exactly it, Everett. Scattered around this place are a bunch of shelters that you can claim. Some are bigger, warmer and safer than others, so you have to compete to get them first. So we just claim them and then they're ours? That's right, but do be careful, someone could bully or run you out of your home if they wanted to. A competition for resources and shelter. What about the mate part? I'm guessing we've got to pair up for that. If you want to, mating occurs when two tablets touch one another and stay locked for about 5 seconds. Wow, 5 seconds. I've been with some fast shooters, but that's going to be a new record. Maria, this is not the time for innuendos. Sorry, couldn't pass up the opportunity. Point being, once you've mated with someone, you'll each have one another's player's names as your mate. And mating helps keep us alive then, right? Nope, it's just something you can do if you want to. There are benefits and risks involved, but I'll let you find those out for yourself. But if you choose not to mate with anyone, there won't be any penalty. You'll survive all the same as long as you have all your other needs met. Oh, that's a relief. The pressure of finding a mate is hard enough in real life. I don't want to have to deal with it here. The only other thing you need to know is that your tablet has a timer on it. When it reaches 0, you'll need to be in your home. fully fed, plenty of water, and you'll be able to sleep through the night. Then when you wake up, it'll be the next day, and you have to do it all over again. Survive all 3 rounds and you win. Fail to survive and your collar will kill you. How will it kill you? That's a surprise. Not a surprise I'm eager to find out. Well, the general rules are simple, the mechanics perhaps not so much. If you got any questions, feel free to ask about them. First off, these food and water amounts seem arbitrary. How much are we supposed to eat or drink to be able to survive? 10 berries, 10 handfuls of water, 10 pounds of meat? The numbers don't seem to be indicative of how much we should look for. Of course, the accountant would be worried about abstractions more than pure numbers. Well, anyway, food around the area will be labelled to show you how much it will count towards your satiety. For example, you may find a batch of berries that will say feeds 3 hunger. You eat some berries and that's it. You have to go somewhere else to get more food. Water actually is a lot more simplistic. You find a clean body of water, you just have to drink until your tablet says you're nice and hydrated. Still a bit abstract, but I suppose it'll have to do. I got a question, how many times can we mate? Why are you so obsessed over mating? Are we allowed to mate with different people? Or is it like a one and done kind of thing? Well, my promiscuous little rabbit, here's how it works. If you mate with someone, then you get their name on your tablet, but if you mate again after that, then your new mate replaces them. But the old mate still keeps yours. So if you're inclined, sure, go ahead and do whatever you want. Got it. Maria looks so chipper over something that really didn't seem all that important. So is that everything? No more questions? We're all silent, seeming pleased with the answers we'd gotten. Great, well then, let's get this game started. Good luck and good fortune to you all. And with that, she poofed away in a blue smoke and left the rest of us awkwardly standing around. Time to wrap this episode up here because we're out of time for today, but... in the next one, I guess we're playing Evolution, and Maria can go around mating all day long. That'll be exciting. Anyway, till then, thanks for watching, Bruce, and I'll see you in the next one.